Good morning, grade sixes, and welcome to your mathematics lessons for today, brought to you by WorksheetCloud.com. I hope you guys are well and looking forward to your lesson today. Please feel free to send me any questions on any of the work we've covered, or perhaps there's something that you're not 100% sure of that you'd like me to go over. And again, I'm more than happy to put together a presentation or touch on it during a lesson. So the email address in front of you, grade6@worksheetcloud.com, is for you to use to ask questions. Another reminder about previous activities and memos that you can find online, as well as access to previous recordings of lessons. And guys, I'd encourage you to watch these lessons, press pause, work through the examples, press play, see how you've done, learn from your mistakes, and move forward confident and positive that you can do the work we're covering. Okay, so today we're going to continue looking at angles. Yesterday we looked at types of angles, so acute angles less than 90, obtuse angles between 90 and 180, reflex angles between 180 and 270, and then you've also got right angles which are 90 degrees. Okay. But before we get going there, we've got our normal warm-up activity. So you need to tell me the value of each symbol. It looks like peanut butter, flaming, marshmallows, and a box of popcorn. So off you go and work that out, and let's see how you guys do. Well done for working through that one. I think this one's a little bit trickier than most of the other ones you've done. So let's have a look at how you did. So I'm going to go 500 divided by 4. I know that 500 divided by 4 is 125. Okay, so double peanut butter must be 250 and plus 125. And if I add those all together, I should get 500. Okay, then I know I need to add 250 at the bottom. So what multiplied by what is going to give me 450. And one value needs to be half of the other. So I had to play around with some numbers there, and I eventually got to 15 times 30 is going to give me 450, and then add the 250 gives me 700. Then I know that the single marshmallow is 15. Okay, so that my box of popcorn is going to be 8. Okay, so 8 times 15 is 120, and if I add 16 to 120, I get 136. And then I've just got to put my values in at the bottom, and I'll do that underneath. So 125 plus 30 multiplied by 16. So by now we should all know that you must do your multiply first. Okay. So 30 times 16 is 480, and then 480 plus 125 gives me 605. So remember the 30 times 16, you can say 3 times 16 is 48, and then put the 0 there. That's probably going to be your easiest bet, unless you take the 30 times 16, you double the 30 to 60, you halve the 16 to 8, and you go 60 times 8 is 480. Gives you the same answer. But it's just it's interesting to note that you can use the doubling and halving method to make your life a little bit easier. Okay, cool. Guys, there are your mental mathematics questions for today. Please read the questions carefully. They're a little bit more wordy today, so they contain a few more words, but I was trying to challenge you in different ways. See how you go through those 5. Press pause, come back and see how you did. Right, good luck. Okay guys, there are your mental maths questions for today. So if I've got 7 Rand 30, how many 10 cents pieces do I need to add to that to get to 10 Rand? So you need to work out that from 7 Rand 30 to 8 Rand is going to be 7 10 cents pieces. And then we know there are 10 10-cent pieces in each Rand. So we're looking at 27 10-cent pieces, all right? And we know that equals 2 Rand 70. And 2 Rand 70 plus 7 Rand 30 is going to give us 10 Rand. Okay, so that was your first one. Your second one is how many times is 25 grams contained in 4 kilograms. So the first thing you need to do is recognize that there are 4,000 grams in 4 kilograms. It's 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. How many times does 25 grams go into 4,000? So I wouldn't even do that first. I would first say, how many times does 25 grams go into 100? And we know that's 4. So how many times will it go into 1,000? That's going to be 40. Okay, and then we know to get to 4,000, we must multiply 40 by 4. So we know it's 160 times 25 gives us 4,000. Okay? Sorry, one more zero. Okay, that's your answer for the second question. Your third question is find the difference between 3 50s and the sum of 12 5s and 6 2s. So it's a little bit wordy, but break it up and go step by step. 3 50s, so 3 times 50 is 150. Okay, then I need to work out the sum of 12 5s. So 12 times 5 is 60. Okay, plus 6 2s is 12, so that equals 72. And now they want to know the difference between 150 and 72, and that's going to give me 78. Okay, so read the question really carefully there, and I hope you guys were able to figure that out. Okay, then just the percentage question for number 4, and that is what percentage of 2 liters is 400 milliliters. Okay, so again, we need to have both quantities in the same unit. So 2 liters is 2,000 milliliters. And again, there are 1,000 milliliters in a liter. So 2,000 in 2 liters. And we want to know what percentage is 400 out of 2,000. Okay, the first thing I would do is I would divide both numbers by 100. So it gives me 4 over 20. I can then simplify 4 over 20 to 1/5. And what percentage is 1/5? Well, if I wanted to work it out, I'll need to get it out of 100. So that's 20 out of 100, which equals 20%. If you were able to recognize from there that 400 over 200 is 1/5, and then convert that to a percentage, great. No problem with that whatsoever. Okay, and then your last question is a long division question. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a table for you. Okay, I'm multiplying by 18. I hope I can fit it in. So the first thing I'm going to do is recognize multiply by 100. So that's going to give me 1,800. Okay, I've got quite a long way to go. I'm going to multiply that by 500. Okay, and you might be wondering, why am I choosing 500? I'm just recognizing that I've got a long way to go to get to 9,072. So I'm just choosing a bigger multiple of 100. So 1,800 times 5 is going to give me 9,000. Okay, and now I need to figure out how many times does 18 go into 72. And I'm going to try to work that out and say 18 multiplied by 2 is going to give me 36. So multiplied by 4 is going to give me 72. Okay, and now I can just go, well, 500 and the 4 is going to give me 9,072. So 9,072 divided by 18 equals 504. Now I've always said to you, you must check. Okay, so if I take my sum that I've got written down at the bottom and I check it out and I do the inverse, that's going to be 504 multiplied by 18. Okay, I can do doubling and halving here. If I double the 504 to 1008 and I halve 18 to 9, okay, that makes my sum so much easier. Now it's this 1000 times 9 is 9000. Okay, there's your 9000, and 9 times 8 is your 72, so then I must be correct. Okay, guys, please send me questions about this long division if you still require me to work on it a bit more for you, but I hope it's making a little bit more sense to you than doing a long, convoluted and confusing bus stop method. Okay. Well done for getting through those mental questions. We get on to the main part of today's work, and that is naming angles. Okay, so you're going to have to be careful here because different teachers like angles to be named differently. Okay, so I've put the 3 different ways that you can name angles. You can either use this little sign here, which is the abbreviation sign for angle. And that is because remember that an angle is formed when 2 lines meet, and the angle is formed at the point. So there the 2 lines meet at point B. So that is where the angle is, where the orange area is colored in. So that you can see is a small symbol of an angle. Another way to name an angle is to put like a little roof on top of the middle letter indicating where the angle is. And remember, you can name it angle ABC or CBA. Okay, same angle. I always tell my classes just to use alphabetical order. It's just a little bit easier for me and for you guys to understand. Alternatively, if there's only one angle, then you can just call it angle B. So in the picture on the screen, there is only one angle. However, if I showed you the next screen, which you guys are going to try out, you can see that there are more than one angle. Okay, so the order in which you mention the letters becomes very important. And you also can't say for A, okay, angle Z, because there are actually 2 angles at Z. Or for B, you can't say angle N, because there are 2 or there are 3 angles at N. And the same for C, you can't say angle F, because there are 4 angles for F. But for this picture over here, you could say angle B, because there is only one angle there. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So anyway, your turn. You need to name the angle indicated by a square, and you need to name the angle indicated by a circle. Okay, off you go and do those. Okay, cool. So there are your angles in front of you on the Google Jamboard, and I'm going to do a little bit of drawing for you. So my first angle I'm going to name is angle A, the circle. So I'm just going to draw where the angle is. Okay, so there's the angle there in green. All right, so my angle there must be, you can either say that sign for the angle and then WZX. You could say WZX with a little roof on top of the Z. And remember, you can also go XZW. Okay, so remember the order doesn't really matter. Okay, as long as Z is in the middle. Right, and then for the other angle, if I just clean that off quickly, okay, for the square, we are looking at this angle over here, okay, and that's also going to be a little bit different. You are going to write angle X, Z, Y, or you're going to write X, Z, Y with a little roof or little cuppy on top of the Z. Okay. Question B. Right. Question B. We're going to look at the circle first. So that is the angle we're looking at there in blue. Okay. And then that's going to be angle OP. Sorry, not P. ONP. So wherever the angle is, that letter is in the middle. And then alternatively, you could say ONP with the little cuppy on the top, or the little roof on the top. And I'm just going to create a bit of space for C. so that I write it and you guys can see it. Oh, sorry, I've still got two more angles left, one more angle left here in B, and I'll do it in this color. So if I'm looking for the square and I'm naming the square, I'm looking here. So that's going to be QNP or QN with a little copy on the top and P. Okay? And then for question C, if I wanted to do the circle first, the circle is there. Okay, so that's going to be angle CFD or CFD. Okay, and the square is that one there. So that's going to be AFB or AFB. And remember, you can have BFA going the other way around as long as F is in the middle. Okay, so that's naming angles. Okay, we now move on to measuring angles. Okay, and I'm going to show you, that's the instrument we use to measure angles. It's called a protractor. You do get a 360-degree protractor, so it's a full circle. But these 180-degree protractors are more common, all right? So you can notice that there is an outside scale from 0 all the way to 180 on the other side, and then there's also an inside scale from 0 to 180 going anti-clockwise, all right? So let's have a look at the next screen first. Okay, so you need to be able to measure an angle to the nearest degree. Okay, so a couple of pointers. It's always a really good idea for you to look directly down at the protractor and not look at it from an angle. And it's also really handy for you to use the protractor in a horizontal manner shown below. So some of you might be asking, well, how can we use the protractor in a horizontal manner if the angle we have to measure is turned? Well, just turn your book, really. Okay, turn your book or turn the piece of paper so that the protractor is horizontal, and yeah, use your book and use your paper to keep the protractor horizontal. Okay, so how do we measure then protractors from there? Okay, so that's just that I've spoken through to you. Right, so measuring angles with the protractor. If I have that angle and I want to measure it, okay, I put my protractor on the angle. It's really important that that exact T-junction where the corner, where the angle is, and if I show you, actually it's going to be easier for me to show you on the Google Jamboard. So if I showed you that protractor, this area here, this T-junction over here, that has to be exactly on where the angle is, okay? So this horizontal line, which is 0, must be on the horizontal line of the angle. So if I go back to the presentation, you can see that that is what I've got, okay? I've got that exact T-junction and the horizontal line on the horizontal line of the angle. Now you just need to recognize that that's an acute angle, so it's less than 90. So I use the 0 on the inside of the scale, and we can see that that is 50 degrees. Okay. If I have an angle the other way, same rules apply. I must recognize that that is first less than 90 degrees. I put that T-junction I spoke to you about on the point where the two lines meet, and I must make sure that the horizontal 0-degree line is on the horizontal line of the angle, and then I can measure 67 degrees. Okay? Right, so now I'm going to look at obtuse angles. So again, it's really handy for you to look at this angle first and to recognize that it's bigger than 90 degrees. Okay? Then I just put my protractor on it, and again, the 0 degree line has to be exactly on the horizontal line of the angle. I can now see that that angle is bigger than 90. So I still use the inside of the scale and I measure 120 degrees. Okay. And if the angle goes the other way, again, I need to recognize that that angle is bigger than 90. I put my protractor onto the point where the two lines meet, and I make sure that that upside down T is on the exact point where the lines meet, and the horizontal 0 degree line is on the horizontal line of the angle, and I can measure off 135 degrees. Okay, guys, yeah, I encourage you to replay it so that you understand which scale to use, but I'm always a big believer in having a look at the angle and recognizing if it's greater than or less than 90 degrees, and then that kind of helps me understand which part of the scale on the protractor I need to read. Okay, now if I asked you to estimate angles, it's always handy to be able to estimate an angle before you measure it. And that kind of gives you an idea of whether your measurement is correct or not. So if you looked at angle number 1, you're going to be looking at an acute angle. So you might be thinking it's around about 45 degrees. Okay, then you can measure it off. And if you're looking at your protractor and it's giving you an answer of 125 or 135, you can kind of understand that you're looking at the wrong scale. So the same with question 2, 3, 4, 5 is look at the angle first, estimate whether it's bigger or less than 90, or estimate what it is about, and then you can kind of understand what scale to measure from. So you can see on number 1 I estimated it to be about 45 degrees. So it's not quite 45, it's just less than 30, but I'm still in a similar area that I would have estimated. Number 2, I'd probably estimate at 80. So there again, it's at 75, but I know that my estimation is in the right place. Angle 3, perhaps about 100 degrees, because I know it's bigger than 90. Okay, and there it looks like 99 degrees, so I know I'm really close. Question 4, I'm going to be estimating 45 degrees. And then if I put my protractor onto that angle, again, have a look at the upside down T, rests exactly on where the two lines meet, and the 0 degree horizontal line of the protractor is in line with the horizontal line of the angle. And there you can see my angle is just less than 40 degrees. And my last one, number 5, I know it's obtuse, I know it's greater than 90. I'm going to be estimating about 140. So if I put my protractor on there, and again, everything lines up perfectly, I get 150 degrees, which is 10 degrees away from 140, but at least I know that I'm in the right area. Okay, so that's angles for you today. I have left you an activity with a memo on measuring angles for your consolidation work today. You'll find that in that online activity, you need to estimate the angle first, and then you need to measure it. Okay, so I'm hoping you've got a protractor at home. If not, you might have to be a little bit inventive and either maybe try print one out and then cut out and have a look at how it works. But yeah, give that online activity a shot and let's see how you guys go. Right, you need to work out this brain bender for today, which is your usual multiplication table. Give it a shot, tell me what the ice creams are worth, and let's see how you go. So as per usual, I'm just going to fill in the numbers that are there already. 6, 25, 75, and 4. Okay. Okay, now it's just a case of trying to identify what numbers we can plug in. And the first thing I've noticed is that you've got 2 ice creams. Okay, so they must be the same number. So I know that 5 multiplied by 5 is 25. Okay, then I know that 4 multiplied by 5 is 20, and 6 multiplied by 5 is 30. Okay, and now I need to look if anything else pops up that's being repeated. And I don't see any other symbols that have been repeated. from the numbers I've already worked out. But what I can do is I say, how do I get from 5 to 75? And that's 5 times 15. Okay, so now I can say 4 times 15 is 60. All right, and 6 times 15 is 90. Okay, and now I've got some repeated symbols. So I know that this 60 needs to be equal to this pink ice cream at the bottom. All right, and now I can work out what did I multiply 6 by to get 60, and that's 10. And now it's just a case of 4 times 10 is 40, and 5 times 10 is 50. So I hope these brain benders continue to challenge you. It's just another way of practicing your multiplication, your multiple tables, your mental arithmetic, and I'd really encourage you to challenge each other at home to see who can kind of be the champion of the brain benders. Okay, guys, then the last thing for today is your 24 challenge. And by now you should know that you need to use each number on each card and any of the operation signs to make 24. So on your first card, you've got 6, 6, 3, and 9. What would you do there to make 24 using add, subtract, multiply, divide, or a combination of the 4 operations? See how many different ways you can get to 24. And again, just a little challenge for you to get more comfortable with playing around with numbers. Okay, grade 6s, thanks very much for watching today. Appreciate your time. Spread the messages that you're getting these free online lessons with activities and memos. There's a nice bank building up for you to go back and have a look at what we've done. Enjoy the rest of your day, keep safe, and I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. All the best.